Right, so I've had a few questions on how to use a slab roller. So I thought I'd run you through exactly how to use a slab roller and all the little tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way of using one. I am using Freema. Most slab rollers all work the same. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is my slab roller here. I'm working with our black West Coast clay today. So I have a different canvas for dark clay versus white clay. So this is my dark clay setup. And then on the top here, we have these little cranks that operate the thickness of the slab. And this is all measured in centimeters. So we want to start off nice and thick. You don't want to be putting too much pressure on the clay right from the start. It stretches and cracks it too much. Then the trick is to start off with some clay that is prepped so you don't want it to be this big ball of clay. You want to start off with the clay in a reasonable shape to where you want it to be. So what I mean by that is I'm doing long wide platters. So I'm starting off with a nice kind of long thinnish sheet of clay that's not going to put too much pressure on the wheel itself. So if you start off with a big round clump of clay and you want a long platter, that's going to be really hard to do. If you want a nice round circled sheet of clay, then you want to start off with a round ball, flattened ball of clay. As you roll that out, you'll get that beautiful shape. Hopefully that makes sense. So all we're going to do is we have our two canvas sheets. We're going to flip one up. We're going to chuck our clay straight down. Lay the canvas sheet over. Make sure everything is kind of nice and straight, like so. And then we're going to feed it into the roller. On the side here, we have a crank. They all look a bit different. Sometimes there's a big wheel. Sometimes there's a hand crank like this. I've got this set to about 2 centimeters. I'm going to pull this in nice and tight, and then using my crank, I'm going to feed it through. So I'm going to wind this around, and at the same time, I'm going to pull this to help it come through. I'm just going to set the camera up so you can watch what I'm doing. Okay, so I've put my first run through, and now I'm going to make this a little bit thinner. Oops, that way around. So you just go a little bit at a time. Okay, now I can feel that I've got a nice long strip of clay. I've got the length that I want, still a good amount of thickness. So now I can flip the clay around and get the width that I'm after. So you can simply lift the clay up, flip it over, or you can use the fabric to flip it over. So we're going to spin it around, lay fabric back over, push it through, and it's about a full to half a turn every time. And sometimes it's good to go through once or twice. Okay, so I'm now down to the thickness that I want. So I'm going to about 1 centimeter, just under 1 centimeter. That's kind of the thickness that I'm after for these platters. We can pull that through, and then that's the result. So as you can see, because I started out with that the right shape of clay, that we've managed to roll out the right shape of clay, spinning it around so that we are rolling this way and that way. That's really key. And so that's it. That's how you use a slab roller. They just take a little bit of getting used to, and they take a little bit of grunt work. They can be quite physical, but it shouldn't be too hard. If you're having to work too hard, it means you're adjusting the thickness way too fast. So slow down, start with a thinnish piece of clay. Start by just whacking the clay down manually, and it should be good. Let us know in the comments if you've got any questions. Here to help, or find me a direct message, and I'm happy to jump on a call and we can work through it together. Good luck.